January 1997, Final Fantasy VII is released to the world. I'm 37 years old. This came out just over 28 years ago, and I've never played it. Now, I haven't been living under a rock. I know that a lot of people regard this game as being the best one in the series, and I do like Final Fantasy games. I got about 90% of the way into Final Fantasy VIII. I finished Final Fantasy X, and that's about as far as my experience goes. I don't really know why I haven't actually played Final Fantasy VII. I never really owned it. I didn't go out looking for it, and I don't even really know how I ended up with Final Fantasy VIII. Full disclosure, I haven't played the remake, I haven't played Rebirth, and I've only seen the very start of this game a long time ago. And all I remember is a train and everyone looking like Oompa Loompas. So in this video, I'm going to play this for the very first time. I'm going to give you my genuine reactions to different scenes in the game. And look, give it a go, give you my honest feedback. And at the very end, I'm going to tell you whether I made a huge mistake in not playing this game or if I made the right decision in just staying away from it in the first place. I'm right at the start of the game. The intro music is weird, but it sort of evolves into this absolute masterpiece. And it's just credits on the screen. There's no characters, there's no graphics, there's no CG animation. It's just credits coming on the screen and then the Final Fantasy VII logo coming in full effect. And I kind of like that. It's very nostalgic. It definitely captures the essence of the time, 1997. But just got into the story. It looks like Cloud and a bunch of other guys jumped off the train and they're targeting some sort of nuclear reactor. Whether they're going to blow it to pieces, I think they're going to blow it to pieces. And one thing I noticed is just how catchy the music is. And then of course there's Cloud's iconic, massive sword. And Garrett really comes across like this full-on, bulking, hulking badass straight off the bat, like a no-nonsense kind of guy. Cloud seems like he just doesn't care about anything. He's maybe just there to get paid. And I'm actually kind of enjoying it so far. But it's very early days yet. I know this is just the very tip of the iceberg, so I'll keep on playing. What set it apart from the Final Fantasy games that came out before was this was the first one to feature 3D character models and pre-rendered environments to run around and interact with. And some of the things that they do with this is absolutely mind-blowing, given the fact that this is a new technology or a new technique that they were using in 1997. Now, I knew that Final Fantasy VII was successful, but I didn't realize it was this successful. Final Fantasy had sold over 10 million copies worldwide and is considered a key part of solidifying the PlayStation as the dominant console over the Nintendo 64. So we just blew the machine, the reactor, to pieces. I just finished that mission. Man, is there a lot to go over for just that little bit. First of all, Barrett joined into the team. Got to fight with him, got to see his limit break, got to see Cloud's limit break, got to experience a wide variety of really weird different enemies that actually have fantastic design. The soundtrack continues to be amazing, even though it sounds like it's made with like 16-bit sounds. And when that timer came up on the screen, telling me I got 10 minutes to get out of there before the place gets blown to pieces, I panicked because I didn't know how much time I really had, and I was experimenting. I was bringing up the menu to see if that would pause the game, but no, that clock kept counting down. And so I just ran for it, and it turned out I had plenty of time. Interestingly enough, I did get to meet the flower girl, but I'm not gonna just dwell on that. I'm gonna let it come to me and just take it for what it is. I do want to talk about the environments. The environments are fantastic. I like this dystopian, industrial, cyberpunk-ish kind of setting that they've got this game in. And the other thing as well is, even though those backgrounds are pre-rendered and they're quite pixelated, it doesn't bother me at all. So far, really enjoying myself. Oh, and quickly, before we get back to the game, there are characters in this game that are also in other games, Biggs and Wedge. I have a question for you. How many Final Fantasy games do the names Biggs and Wedge show up? Put your answer in the comments. Now, the version of the game that we're playing and the version of the game that was released wasn't originally how the game was meant to be. Originally, the game was meant to be kind of like a detective style game where Cloud is chasing Sephiroth across Midgar. Some characters like Zack actually had a more expanded and in-depth role than he ended up having in the final product. Another key reason why Final Fantasy VII is considered the best in the series is it really brought JRPGs to Western culture, making it more approachable, making it easy to understand and appreciate, and take people out of their world into a completely different world created by brilliant artistic minds. Maybe I'm starting to see what made this game so good. So I've made it up to the slums, and it's getting pretty late at night. That begs the question, do I continue to play the game tomorrow, or do I just go, not for me, and move on to something else? I actually want to keep playing the game. Cloud is a mercenary. He generally sides with good, and then you've got Barrett, who it's just business, 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 but he's got this sort of aggressive charisma that just works. And it's all just coming up on the screen in text boxes. It's my own mind reading this, but they've just nailed it. I don't know how, but they've nailed it. Again, the music just continues to be amazing. So I'll see you tomorrow for another hour or so of gaming, and then let's see how I feel about it. Okay, so here I am back at it again with Final Fantasy VII, Day 2. I've played it a bit further. I've made it to the slums. I've gone into the bar. I've met Tifa or Tifa. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Let me know in the comments if I got it wrong. We got to learn a bit of history between Tifa and Cloud, how they were friends when they were kids, how he made a promise to her that he would save her when he achieves his dream of being a soldier or reaching a certain rank. And you know what, that's kind of a weird thing for me, for her to remember something so specific. And even he is like, huh? You remember that? But he made her a promise and she wanted him to fulfill it. And I know that this is a very specific thing to JRPGs, this kind of storyline, this kind of subtle, slow burn love that's happened between them, maybe some sort of warmth between them. And then she's joined the party, of course, which is really cool. And we're on our second mission, and the whole story, I really do get the feeling with the whole story that we're building up to a massive epic adventure, and it's doing it really well. The pacing is really well. I really do have a sense of things are about to take off. Things are really going to get epic really soon, more epic than they already are. And all of the little seeds that were planted in the intro of the game are going to have meaning. One negative I'm experiencing is all of the text. There is no voice acting in this game whatsoever. Everyone speaks through a text bubble. The developers, Square, have done a fantastic job of capturing the personality of each character. It's a lot of reading. And I have heard that the remake and rebirth are fully voice acted. Maybe I'll check them out eventually, but overall, still very much enjoying this game. I'm going to play it a bit more, and I'm going to come back afterwards with my final thoughts. Stick around. Crazily enough, Final Fantasy VII was originally meant to come out on the Super Nintendo, and then the Nintendo 64, but Square encountered a problem there. Nintendo 64 cartridges were very small in capacity. They could hold maybe a few megabytes at best. Then the PlayStation came out with its CD-ROM, massive storage capability, and they created this apparent masterpiece. Oh my god, I am such a noob. I got stuck in this bloody circular shaped tunnel for I don't know how long. I went back towards the camera when I entered it and went through about 5 versions of the exact same pre-rendered background and encountered some guards that I had to take out, except the guards just kept on coming over and over again until I just went the other way and figured out that I was meant to go forward, not backward. But in addition to that, I didn't even realize you could flee the battle until I just started experimenting and pushing buttons. And what do you know? You can actually run away from enemies. So I'd been fighting everything that I came across when I realized I could probably just do this quicker if I just ran away. Another thing that 100% captures the time this game was made was some of the dialogue, especially some of the things some of the characters say that might be not really accepted in today's world. And one last thing before I get back to it, when you're just walking around and the music is really calm and then that noise hits Sometimes that scares the shit out of me. And that's it. I've just reached 2 hours of playtime. I'm gonna stop here for this video and give you my thoughts on Final Fantasy VII. Did I miss out on much? It's hard to tell from the first 2 hours, I know. And I know there's a lot to come. And I know a lot to come is quite epic. And the game being so good that it has a reputation for this makes me want to know what I missed out on even more. The first 2 hours of the game were fantastic. The soundtrack was phenomenal. And you got to keep in mind, there's no voice acting whatsoever. Everything is told through music and speech bubbles. And it absolutely nails that. The environments are beautiful, if a little pixelated these days. The enemy design is fantastic. The moves are fantastic. The storytelling is clear and easy to follow. Some of the characters interact a little bit like children, but I think that just adds to the charm of the game. And I don't know why I never played it. And you know what? I regret that I waited this long. Now, do I continue playing it? Or do I just go, that's me? Part of me wants to continue playing it, but I want to do it with you. So if you want me to continue playing this, you want to see me react to all the great stuff that you know is ahead of me in this game, drop a comment down below and I'll make it happen. Final Fantasy VII isn't the only game I haven't played. There's other games I haven't played, a lot of games I haven't played, and this is a video on one of them, so why not go check it out?